And he says the attitude of our employees, our associates, is that things are different in our company, and they deserve the credit.
A great working relationship as well as a family relationship.
Ideas from all 380,000.
Quickly, get the big blue bag! Big blue bag!
Wal-Mart is the biggest retailer and the largest employer in the world. In 2021, they made $572 billion in earnings. Wal-Mart also has more than 2 million employees. However, creating such an empire was not a stroll in the park. It all began when a struggling farmer was told that he had no bright future in retail. But despite all this, he opened his own store. And this is the story of Wal-Mart. Sam Walton was the son of a farmer in Oklahoma, Thomas Walton. He was born on March 28, 1918 in Kingfisher. His father's farm wasn't making enough money, so they traveled from one state to another. They settled in Columbia, Missouri. Sam assisted his family by doing side hustles. His parents taught him the importance of hard work. His father was always on the road, trying to make money. Because of this, Thomas' relationship with his wife deteriorated. Sam described his parents as the two most argumentative people to ever live together. Sam joined the Boy Scouts, played sports, and held a number of leadership activities that kept him occupied. Sam graduated from David J. Hickman High School in 1935. He then attended the University of Missouri. In school, he worked a variety of jobs to sustain himself, including delivering newspapers and waiting tables in exchange for food. Upon his graduation in the spring of 1940, Sam got his first taste of the retail industry. He landed a job as a trainee in sales at J.C. Penney in Des Moines, Iowa. He received $75 every week. He was considered to be among J.C. Penney's worst employees. His poor bookkeeping was due to the fact that he disliked making his clients wait while he worked on paperwork. Sam's employer threatened to dismiss him and even said that he had no bright future in the retail industry. His aptitude for sales earned him an extra $25 in commissions from sales each month. Walton took part in the army during the Second World War. He became a military service member and he progressed to the position of captain in the Military Intelligence Corps. Sam was assigned to Oklahoma in April 1942, where he met his wife, Helen Robson. Walton now had a family to support, and so he decided to start up his own retail business. His father-in-law gave him an amount of $20,000 and $5,000 from his own money. He used the money to buy a Ben Franklin shop in Newport, Arkansas. When Sam bought the store, it was suffering a severe financial loss. The store's rent was 5% of the total sales, and at first, this seemed okay to Walton. But following the lease's signing, he discovered it to be the highest rate anyone ever purchased a variety store business. Despite everything, Sam overcomes the hurdles. He learned the rules of retail and then broke the ones he thought didn't make sense. Sam purchased the Ben Franklin store, where he had to go to purchase the entire company's inventory outlets. He was confident he could purchase cheaper goods elsewhere, and he discovered a provision in his contract that permitted him to buy his goods from another place. He would cut back his products much lower than what they were costing in other stores. He made more money in volume than margin, but it took him over 10 years to comprehend the impact of that idea. His primary goal was to improve the lives of his client more easily, and the fact that he did that, more and more customers purchased from him. His brother Bud helped him with his business, and they ran the shop more efficiently. The store's owners, the Butler brothers, whom Sam had leased, were dissatisfied with the fact that the Walton family was receiving goods elsewhere, but they were unable to do a lot about it due to the statistics Sam was producing unequaled results. More of his sales had increased by more than 45%. Sam was able to pay back the debt of $20,000. 2 years later, his father-in-law and Sam had become the top Arkansas variety store proprietor, and perhaps in the nearby states as well. When Sam Walton signed a lease in 1945, when he opened his store, it contained no clause for renewal. Options for renewal were usually common attributes of leases. His father-in-law was shocked that Sam could have made such a mistake. Walton had constructed not just one of the most prosperous companies in Newport, but he had put everything into it. Sam Walton quotes, "It was the lowest point of my life. I felt sick to my stomach. I had built the best variety store in the whole region and worked hard in the community, done everything right, and now I was being kicked out of town." After being kicked out, he was determined to do it correctly this time. In Bentonville, Arkansas, he discovered another store. Walton prepared the town square's second store and signed a 99-year lease. Sam started a new business in 1950. He named it Walton's Five and Dime. He never stopped looking for new ways to cut the cost of his items to keep his customers happy. Walton studied about self-service in the retail industry. Consumers could enter the store, get the items themselves, and pay at the entrance. This meant he could employ fewer people and go further to lower the price of his products. This achieved a quick tripling of his income yearly. Then he started a chain of shops. At the end of 1950s, Walton was a proud owner of 15 stores. He had the idea of building large stores and settling them in local communities. It would offer discounts on everything they carried. By reducing his pricing, he would undercut his rivals and earn up the price difference using an increased sales volume. Sam first contacted a business that granted franchises for Ben Franklin stores, but people wouldn't support his idea. So he took out a large loan while mortgaging his house, borrowed lots of money, and started his first Wal-Mart store in Rogers, Arkansas in 1962. Customers were happy that they didn't have to go to the city to get discount prices. Sam Walton had provided funding for the expansion of his business through borrowing money and making money. In 1970, he made the company public. The initial offering produced approximately $5 million, and his family will keep roughly 61% ownership of the stock. By the year 1980, Wal-Mart stores were opening roughly 100 new stores annually. Sam believed that the expansion of Wal-Mart didn't only focus on their prices. Low prices are what drew people, but were also a result of his associates' help. Sam influenced his friends, partners, and saw to it that they benefited from stocks and cash bonuses options. This offered them the opportunity to participate in the expansion of his business. Moreover, Walton made sure that his establishments were placed near warehouses for convenience. Another new idea was the choice to purchase products directly from producers rather than using wholesalers, which permitted him to further down his price points. At that time, Wal-Mart was considered the most rapidly expanding and major player in the retail sector. Walton introduced the initial of his wholesale clubs, Sam's, which was aimed at owners of small businesses and people who want to buy something in large quantities. Walton had struck it rich once more, and by 1990, he had more than 1,000 outlets and 150,000 employees. He died on April 5, 1992 at 74. When he passed away, Wal-Mart had reached $104 billion in revenue yearly and built an empire with 10,500 stores and clubs in 24 countries.